Think about how many decisions you make every single day. What to wear, what to eat, which route to take to work. It feels almost automatic, right? But for a computer, a decision isn't intuitive at all. Nope, it's a calculation. It's a choice based on a really strict set of rules. So let's dive in and unpack the simple, logical rules that let computers make these choices. So how does that actually happen? I mean, how does a chunk of silicon and wire go from just sitting on your desk to running all the complex software we use every day? How does it actually choose to go down path A instead of path B? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. It follows a rulebook, a very, very precise, very literal rulebook that a programmer wrote. Without these rules, a computer is completely lost, but with them, it can do almost anything. All right, so for our first section, we're going to look at the computer's rulebook and learn the language of logic. Before a computer can make a decision about something, it has to first understand how to even evaluate the situation. Do you remember back in math class? The order of operations, or as programmers call it, operator precedence, is basically the grammar that prevents total chaos. It tells the computer which part of a math problem to solve first, which makes sure that everyone gets the same answer every single time. And this table, this is the computer's cheat sheet. Think of it as its hierarchy of thought. The operators at the top, like multiplication and division, they have a higher priority. They always get handled before the ones at the bottom, like addition and subtraction. And this isn't a suggestion. For the computer, it's the law. This is a perfect example of it in action. When a computer sees this expression, it doesn't just read it left to right. No way. It scans for the highest priority stuff first. So it spots the 2 times 3 and the 4 divided by 2, solves them to get 6 and 2, and then it goes back to handle the addition and subtraction. That's how it methodically lands on the right answer, 10. Okay, let's try another one. Here, multiplication and division have the same level of priority. So what's the tiebreaker? Simple. It just works from left to right. First, 3 times 4 becomes 12. Then, 12 divided by 2 becomes 6. And only then does it add the 3 and subtract the 1, landing perfectly on 8, every single time. All right, section 2, making a simple choice, where we'll introduce the if statement. So the computer can reliably look at an expression and get a single number. Now for the fun part. How does it use that ability to make an actual choice? For a computer, a decision is literally a fork in the road. It gets to a point where it has to check a condition. Is something true or is it false? Based on that one single answer, the entire flow of the program can change completely. And the tool that we use to create this fork, the most fundamental, most important decision-making command in all of programming, is the if statement. And the beauty of it is its simplicity. The computer just asks a question. If this condition is true, for example, is this number x bigger than 100? If the answer is yes, then it runs the code right after it. But if the answer is no, it just skips right over it and moves on. It's basically a one-way gate. Okay, on to section 3, choosing between 2 paths. Here we'll talk about the power of if-else. So if is great for doing something or doing nothing. But what if we need the computer to do one thing if a condition is true and a completely different thing if it's false? And that's the key question, right? A simple if acts like a gatekeeper for one action. But what about the alternative? What happens when that gate stays closed? Well, for that, we're going to need another tool. And seeing them side by side like this makes the difference crystal clear. On the left, that's our one-way street, the simple if statement. But on the right, we've added one little word, else, and suddenly it's not a date anymore. It's a switch. The computer now has a mandatory choice. If the condition is true, do this. Otherwise, you have to do that. Just think about a payroll program. The logic is a perfect if-else statement. If the employee's hours are more than 40, then run the overtime calculation. For everybody else, it runs the standard pay calculation. It's one condition, but 2 totally distinct paths. Next up is section 4, creating complex decisions. And this is where we'll look at the else-if ladder. So now we're really getting somewhere. We can choose one path, or we can choose between 2. But let's be honest, the real world is rarely that simple. What if you've got 3, 4, or even 5 options that can't happen at the same time? Let's look at how a program assigns grades. It's really just a series of checks. First, it asks, is the score 80 or higher? If it is, it assigns an A, and its job is done. If not, it moves to the next question. Is it 70 or higher? If yes, that's a B, and it stops. It just keeps going down this ladder until a condition is met or it runs out of options and has to assign fail. You can really think of it like a waterfall. The program's flow starts at the top and it just cascades down, checking each else-if condition. The very moment it hits one that's true, it runs that little piece of code and then jumps all the way to the end. It only ever follows one stream. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, combining your conditions by using logical operators. Okay, this is some powerful stuff. But to build software that feels truly intelligent, we often need our conditions to be a little more sophisticated. We need to be able to check more than one thing at the same time. This brings us to the logical AND operator, which you'll usually see as two ampersands. When you use AND to connect two conditions, you're telling the computer, hey, I don't want you to do anything unless condition A and condition B are both true. It's a very strict requirement. The flip side of that is the logical OR operator, shown with two vertical pipes. Now, OR is a lot more flexible. It tells the computer, look, I'm happy if condition A is true or if condition B is true. As long as at least one of them checks out, we're good to go. This comparison makes a difference really intuitive, I think. If you say, I want a promotion and a raise, you're not going to be satisfied with just one of them. You need both. That's a logical AND. But if you say, I'd like coffee or tea, you'll be perfectly happy with either option. That's a logical OR. And that's really the big secret, isn't it? There's no magic. The most complex app on your phone, the most advanced AI, deep down at their core, they're all just millions and millions of these simple building blocks. These tiny if-else decisions stacked together, one on top of the other, create incredible complexity. And so, it all comes down to this. Every single choice a computer makes is just following a rule that a human wrote. Which leaves us with a final, fascinating question to think about. If all this complexity is built from simple, logical rules, what happens when the rules we write, in their perfect logical execution, lead to outcomes we never, ever intended?